Look at how this thing just fell apart. Looked like kinda concerning for a moment, but nothing now. And yeah, I had, some leaning 60 mile per hour wind gusts, but fast forward, yeah, pretty much lost all its juice. Any dry air coming into it from behind, rear inflow jet, would have been forcing it down to the surface, and I think too much moisture just got caught up in the mid-levels. Everything going on behind it here. And you start to see the comma. Once you see that comma, that's rotation. But it's a big area of rotation, so all this moisture is just getting basically pushed back in front of it here. It dumps the storm down a lot. See, it falls apart. Anything that was severe weather warned in Georgia has now been downgraded, and Alabama as well, it looks like. Guess it was kind of bussing right here when it passed through Alabama. Yeah, it was definitely putting out some pretty good wind damage, pretty good wind speeds. For the most part, though, everything's falling apart. No more heating, no more juice for these storms. Yeah. Shut her down. See what's happening in New York. Marine fog, dude. We better be careful. Us mariners better be careful. A little bit of wind damage across the southeast, as you can see. We can check back some of these reports. Trees down, trees down, trees down. Trees fall down sometimes. They do that. Nothing out of Georgia yet. Looks like most of this storm strength was spent over in the Bammer. Alabama. So, I see I have a viewer. You're my one extra viewer besides myself. If you want to comment your area, I can take a look. Take a look, see what's happening over where you are. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm an undergrad student in meteorology, so hopefully I can answer. And I love this stuff. Everything's pretty much falling apart here in the southeast. These storms are still decently strong, gusty winds. We can look at the speed of those winds roughly in the clouds, assuming that these wind speeds stay constant when they reach the earth. These could still knock over trees, take out some power lines, cause some power outages, but everything's weakening a lot. It's really fallen apart over the last hour and a half or so. You can look back at it if you'd like. And you can see these storms were definitely putting out some damage when they came through Concord, Birmingham, Alabama. A lot of trees falling. That's all those were for. We had a decent looking little squall line here, little bow echo we call it, come through Georgia. northwest sector, west central sector of Georgia, but you can watch as this storm just completely fell apart. If we play it back, yeah, lost all structure. You see, we lost the comma shape right there. That's where the strongest winds would have been, packing right here. But these storms lost access to juice. The juice being daytime heating, obviously, and they had some dry air coming in initially. There's dry air right here, which sinks to the ground. So this little comma shape we were talking about ends up pulling a lot of moisture back into the mid-levels of the storm. And we make that dry. And once that dry air is cut off, that forcing the winds down to the ground is not as strong. So storms really, they just piss out. They vanish. So maybe we can do a big overlook too if we want to see. It looks pretty bad from the multi-radar scan. It looks like it's not very high quality, but that's just fine. That gives us a much better overview of the entire United States. What's happening in Phoenix, dude? Any people in Phoenix in the chat? Some strong winds. Talk about dry air out here in the Midwest. Or sorry, not the Midwest, the American Southwest. It's all dry air at the mid-levels coming up from Mexico. So when that dry air gets in train and drops to the surface, they tend to get gustier winds a lot easier than we do.